Thank you for that. I realized that I needed a little bit more space. Tim, thank you. I think Tim was a little nervous. This was first time up, and of course, his wife had been the practitioner of the month for last month, and he had to follow that, and she was fabulous. So, but you did a fabulous job yourself. Thank you for that. So here we are in this month of celebrating the freedom, the birth of our nation. And I thought about this a little on this idea of freedom and what does that mean. So all of the old songs from the 60s started playing through my head, and some of the 4th of July movies started to appear in my vision. It's a strange place in my mind. You don't want to go there. And I thought, in so many ways, what we think freedom is, we really don't have. There's really not that sense of freedom and the extraordinary divine way that if truly I had freedom, I could soar like an eagle. I could just walk out these doors and take off. That would be freedom. But in my mind, I know I can do that. I know that wherever I'm at, whatever I'm doing, that if I can quiet my mind to enter into that space where I somewhat detach from my body, not that I leave it, but I'm able to put my body at rest, and in my mind, I can take that journey anywhere I want to. Any place I've ever been, any place I've ever imagined, any place I've ever thought that I wanted to go. That's the experience of freedom that I'm looking for. It's outside of the physical. It's outside of the condition. Because what I've experienced and what I've seen in this past week and the things that are going on in my life, that in the physical world, there's not a lot of freedom. All of us are aging. Get over it. It's happening. It's part of the human experience. All of us are at some time or in some place in this condition of something that looks like disharmony or dis-ease or not in alignment with who we really want to be, or perhaps we're in an idea of lack or limitation, and just when we think we've got enough cash in our pocket, then the IRS or somebody else or the car breaks down and there it goes. And it's kind of like, where's the freedom in that? So it's all in the mind. True, absolute freedom is in the mind. And the mind is what makes us unique. It is our mind that separates us from everything else in the manifest world. It's our mind that truly distinguishes us from a rock or a bump in the road or a tree or vegetation or animal. Something else that is in this idea of creation that absolutely is living its experience without any thought about what it is. It's the human mind that knows that it knows that it knows. That's what makes us unique. And it's right there in our mind, in this knowingness that we know that we have something unique, that always gets us into trouble. Because it's our thinking that brings us along into some attachment, some condition, some reaction to a response of something that's going on in the world that probably in and of itself is the natural thing that's happening. Weather's going to happen. There's nothing you can do about it. The weather is the weather. If you live in the desert, it's going to be hot. Get it. So how are you going to respond to that? How are you going to react to that? So if you move to the desert and you don't like the heat and you run around all day long moaning and groaning and complaining about it, nothing's going to change. You're still going to be miserable. You're still going to be hot. So move into that place of, so what is my freedom? What do I have the ability to take charge of? So I know that there's an idea that has been brought forth in the mind of human beings that says air conditioning. Isn't that wonderful? There's not a dog or a cat that walked around on the earth and said, air conditioning. Yeah, I think we ought to create some air conditioning here. What about the birds? How about a little fan up here in the treetops? They just adapt. They just live with it because they don't have this unique capability of thinking in the way that we do. I'm sure that they think, but I'm not in connection with how they think. And I don't need to be, because I'm not a bird or a dog or a cat. I'm a human being. And I want to be a human being. And I want to be expressive as a human being. And I want to live my life as a human being. And I want to bring in all that's here in this expression of being a human being and have the greatest experience that I can have with it. And here's what I know about being human, is that it is innate with us already that we have the faith in the presence of the divine. We must, because that is who we are. We are not something else. We are a manifest, individualized expression of spirit. That's why we are here. That's how we got here. That's the life that we are living, because spirit, this one divine, infinite intelligence, had the wisdom and the urge within itself to be in a way of experience and expression that said human being. And we cannot separate ourselves from that. We cannot be any place else other than where the divine presence is. Because that is the force, it is the energy, it is the life-giving essence that allows us to be here and be in the expression of who we are. And then, in its infinite wisdom, and some will debate whether this is wisdom or not, but in its infinite wisdom, it said, and go out there and make your own choice. It makes no difference in the mind of God how you behave, how you live, how you react, how you move through the world, because Spirit only knows one truth. Everything is whole, perfect, and complete. And the journey, the adventure, the experience of living the human life will bring you full circle right back to that place of perfection. There is no other place you can go but to perfection and wholeness and oneness. The way in which you get there and how you think about the process that's going on while you get there is your free choice. So you can simply make the choice today, right now, right here. I give you permission to make this choice. How do you want to live your life? Did anybody have any thought about that? Yeah. How do you want to live your life?
God Fabulous.
Happy, peace, abundance.
Successful.